Hi everyone, I'm Venetia Spencer and I am the Secretary General of PCEP, the Polyolefin Circular Economy Platform. I'm delighted to be joining you all again, and this year looking at the innovations driving sustainability for polyolefins, many of which are being presented to you by PCEP members. Today, I've been asked to look at the policies shaping this new era for plastics, and we certainly are at a pivotal moment. Our industry is under huge pressure to deliver transformational change, and in that there is enormous opportunity. We need to be bold, we need to be brave, and together we can drive the transformation to a circular polyolefin economy. Allow me to step back for a moment, because this is not only a new era for plastics, it's a new era for everything, for everyone, everywhere. And the roadmap for this new world was set out in the UN Sustainable Development Goals 5 years ago now. But how are we to achieve that? And how are we to achieve it by 2030? Well, the UN's International Resource Panel has pointed out that 12 of the 17 goals are directly dependent on natural resources, and that the most efficient way to deliver on these promises to the planet is to focus on sustainable consumption and production. In essence, it's to focus on industry. This is a huge opportunity for us to be the architects of a new world, a new way of doing business that decouples natural resource use from economic growth. And if there is one thing that I believe defines the plastics industry, as it was, as it is today, and as it will be tomorrow, it is innovation. We are an inherently innovative industry. And if we look to polyolefins, we're half of Europe's demand for plastics. We are 70% of the demand for plastic packaging, and our materials are found in every sector of the economy. So if we can take care of our own footprint, if we can deliver the circular economy for polyolefins, we can be the enabler that transforms every other industry as well. Last year, I spoke at this conference on the regulatory framework and the move to a circular economy. So when I was developing today's presentation, I had to step back and try to remember what has changed since last June. The thing to really note is that we actually have a new set of European commissioners, new leaders at the head of the EU's civil service, the guardians of the European Union, and the drafters of policy. And if I have one observation to make of this new European Commission, it is that they have placed environment issues at the very heart of policies. I've been working in Brussels for over 15 years, and this is the first time I have ever seen the environment take such centre stage. It's no longer a policy which belongs to EU but is to the side. It is now integrated into all the other policies and all the other areas of the economy. Europe wants to be the world leader in tackling the climate crisis, in protecting nature, and continue to uphold its position as the largest economy in the world, with its 500 million consumers. The European Green Deal reflects this. It is a package of predominantly industrial policies, looking at how to make the EU's economy climate neutral, more sustainable, and with it more resilient. Despite the huge tragedy of the coronavirus, the European Commission has issued a wealth of policies already in 2020. And at the heart of these is a new industrial strategy and the cornerstone of the Circular Economy Action Plan. These open doors with opportunities for us as the industry to revisit and reframe the European policy landscape in which we do business. As I say, the centerpiece, cemented at the heart of policymaking, is the circular economy. And where the first Circular Economy Action Plan was a wealth of ideas, the second will keep us just as busy. It contains 23 new policies to be brought forward before 2023. Have no fear, I do not intend to talk you through all of them today. I know you're all incredibly familiar with Europe's first policy that looked at a material from a circular approach, the European Plastic Strategy. And the new action plan continues to implement the ideas and the thinking inherent in that strategy. It also goes on to look further at plastics, at packaging, and at new value chains, such as construction, electronics, and mobility. I'd just like to take a moment to reflect on why we, the plastics industry, are the trailblazer for these circular policies. As you all know, polyolefins bring huge benefits across all their applications, not least in the provision of vital safety to frontline workers and indeed to all of us as we seek to live our everyday lives amid this global pandemic. But they are also a very visible part of plastics pollution. And of all the environmental crises facing the world today, marine litter is very visible, very emotive, and remains very much front of mind for the public. This generates the political capital to write policies for an industry which is at the heart of so many economic sectors. It's the perfect storm for policymakers who need to create drastic change in a very short time frame. The coronavirus has brought global human tragedy, and it's left none of us untouched. But it has also triggered what is believed to be the largest economic crisis in the history of the EU. What it hasn't done is shake European leaders' commitment. This July, the EU has agreed a historic budget and coronavirus recovery fund, and the principles of the European Green Deal are embedded at the heart of that. As PCEP, we are calling on our members, our governments, and society as a whole to take the opportunity to build back better. We need to find the silver lining in this moment of tragedy and make today the investments we need for a circular economy. We should take the opportunity to develop the collection, sorting, and recycling infrastructure and the material neutral policy framework that is required to deliver a circular economy in Europe. I am proud that PCEP members are doing just this, expanding capacity for physical recycling, bringing new chemical recycling technologies to market, and seizing the opportunity to collaborate together on transformative technologies such as digital watermarking. Now is the moment to invest for our society, our environment, and our industry. But to come back to the policies shaping this new era for plastics, and given that we are 70% of the plastics packaging industry, let me highlight for you some of the new European policies that are transforming packaging. As I told you last year, a new EU levy on non-recycled plastic packaging waste was very likely, and indeed now it is here. Adopted by Europe's leaders as part of the next EU budget, there is a chance it will be in place from the 1st of January next year, envisaged to incentivise countries to deliver on the new high targets for plastic packaging recycling, which they set themselves in 2018. In many ways, this is a bit like a swear box for governments. Should they miss their targets, not only will they open themselves up to infringement cases, but now they'll also have to pay. For us, this is a real opportunity to catch the ear of governments, to establish the local infrastructure and policies that we need to ensure separate collection of polyolefins, to incentivise design for recycling, and to modernise the sorting infrastructure system, all of which will help us deliver the high quality secondary raw material into the polyolefin market. One of the other areas of policy I'd like to talk to you about is the commitment of the authorities to revisit the rules for recycled plastics in food contact materials. As one of the largest markets for polyolefins, this is a critical area in our transformation to a circular economy. In fact, it's a goal of the PCEP 2030 roadmap. The willingness of the authorities to reopen this piece of regulation will enable us to to provide legal stability for chemical recycling, and to establish a framework for the evaluation of recycled polyolefins back into the food contact market. PCEP members are currently working on establishing the appropriate framework for that evaluation, a common, value chain aligned, scientific approach to a challenge test that will give us all the confidence that recycled polyolefins can go back into food contact materials. There are a few other trends in the Circular Economy Action Plan which I would like to bring to your attention. One is a real focus on consumer empowerment. In essence, a reflection of the fact that you and I, all of us as consumers, play a critical role in this transformation. Expect to see new rules on green claims, an opportunity for us to build consumer trust in the sustainability labels and standards which we use for our products. Mandatory labelling and increased information to consumers on topics such as how to dispose of their packaging and if it contains recycled content are also extremely likely. Another important evolution is the thinking about circularity has shifted from the management of waste to the realization that it's really about product, how they are designed, how they are used, how they can be reused, and ultimately when they do reach the end of life, how to keep that material in the economy. Finally, remember that Europe wants to be the world leader in the circular economy, and they remain fully committed to rolling this approach out at the global level. This gives us an opportunity to design the blueprint here in Europe, to decide what a circular economy looks like and is for our industry, and then to work with governments to expand that at the global level in the global world in which we live. PCEP members are working on all of these aspects, defining together a common vision for what is a circular polyolefin economy. We are looking at every stage of the polyolefin material system to see how we best make the transformation from a linear to a circular model and to feed those thoughts and those ideas, those solutions back into the policymakers. To close, let us take a moment to look at our role as the polyolefin industry. Frankly, we are the catalyst for this new era for plastics. 2/3 of all collected post-consumer plastic waste in Europe is polyolefin. When we establish how to keep that material in the economy, we will have gone a long way to reshaping not only our own industry, but also those of the sectors which depend on us as the material of choice. Looking at where we stand today, polyolefins are slightly better than the average for the plastics industry, with just over 1/3 of our post-use material being sent for recycling. And most of that to recyclers in Europe, which is helping to strengthen the local circular economy and to make our supply chains more resilient to global economic shocks. However, 1/5 of that material isn't recovered, and almost half of it is used to generate energy, rather than being kept in a material form that allows it to be used again and again. I suppose this picture could be seen as disheartening, but what I see as an enormous opportunity. We already collect today millions of tons of high-quality polyolefin that can be used to transformed into wonderful new products. Every day at PCEP, I witness the commitment of this industry to make that change, to drive that transformation to a circular polyolefin economy. I am delighted to be working with companies who are pushing the boundaries. Recyclers who can harvest fishing nets from the oceans and create kayaks to get ocean lovers back out on the sea. Machinery manufacturers who have just secured US FDA approval for mechanically recycled food contact grade HDPE. Everyone, from resin producers, converters, brands, and the waste management industry, working together to redesign packaging so that it's not only collected and sorted, but is recycled today. We are making our materials compatible, and we're bringing recycled content back into some of the most demanding applications. It is a privilege to run PCEP and to give you all the platform to work together, to deliver this new era and to grasp the opportunity that is the circular economy. For those of you who are not yet members, I warmly invite you to join us. Now is the moment to invest for our society, our environment, and our industry. The time for a circular polyolefin economy is here.